Yerp, Great Rising. Great Rising team, what was that? That was loud on the stream. My bad. Just going to give everybody another 5 minutes to join and then we will get started. We're going to be going over the pairs you see on the right hand side of the screen with the red flag next to their name, starting off with AUDUSD, finishing off with US oil. We will be going in order from the top to the bottom. But if you guys have any questions about any other pair, just let me know and we'll go over it. already the last week of November, man. Time is flying. Alright, guys. What do you think? 2 more minutes? Give everybody an opportunity to join. Alright. Let's get this show on the road, guys. So AUDUSD daily time frame. Where are we? Alright, we know we are in A2. We're in level 3 on a downtrend. Right? We had the first zone of consolidation on the downtrend. Sorry, let's restart. I just said everything wrong. Godly. We are in level 3 on a downtrend. Right? We had peak high, level 1, first zone of consolidation, which is A1. Then we had level 2. Then the second zone of consolidation, which is A2 on a downtrend. And then the start of level 3 that gave us the break of structure of the zone of consolidation, right? The lower low, when we're looking at market structure, you have lower low, lower low, equal high, then price moves sideways, and then price gave us the break of structure that gave us the lower low. And all we're looking for is for price to give us a set lower high to then continue these downtrend pushes into the lower low, into the previous peak low, to finish this downtrend push, right? To complete that level 3 push before price turns around and gives us the same thing on an uptrend, right? Push 1, push 2, push 3, and then again for the downtrend. Push 1, push 2, and now we're looking for push number 3. So now, when you're looking for a pullback, right? When you're looking for price to go from a lower low to a lower high, a lot of traders have different methods as to where, right, the lower high is going to be, where the pullback is going to be. Depending on what you trade, some people use support resistance, some people use EMAs, some people use Fibonacci retracements, some people use fair value gaps on the left hand side of the screen to be like, oh, this is where price is going to give us a pullback. Some people use different candlestick analysis, candlestick patterns, whether it's the retest of double tops or retest of engulfing candles, or what's that other thing called? Sorry, bear with me. Just a lot, so many to think about. Well, I got a brain fire. I forgot the other one, that the other name for the price action imbalance. The imbalance. That's the word I was looking for. Right, the imbalance in the market. Some people are like, oh, price is gonna come up, fill the imbalance in the market, which where it's somewhere in this area to then go down, right? So at this point, you know, again, all of those strategies are correct. It's just how you approach your entry system once price reaches your point of interest, right? So right now, where price is at, I have only 2 points of interest where I was expecting this lower high to be set. My first point of interest is here on the 800 EMA. My second point of interest is up here where this 30-minute gap is at in the market. Now, just because price reached the 800 EMA, just because we're sitting here next to the 800 and this is where price is at, am I looking for an entry in these areas? No. Why? Because market structure, when you go down into the lower time frames now, which you guys will see, and we'll go back down to it. Let's talk about the daily first, right? First and foremost, on the daily time frame, we reached our daily 800 EMA. Price gave us a lower high here. Why am I not looking for an entry in these areas? First and foremost, what do we see? We have a daily time frame, shoulder head shoulder, a bearish shoulder head shoulder. Now, is this a valid shoulder head shoulder? Yes, 100% is a valid shoulder head shoulder. However, in order for a shoulder head shoulder to be valid, in order for you to have the valid entry that's going to tell us that price is going to continue the downtrend push, you need to see the break of the shoulder head shoulder, right? Contrary to personal beliefs from a lot of traders online, you'll see that they'll see a shoulder head shoulder and they'll already start getting in somewhere in these areas. And that's incorrect. Why? Because price here, even though we could see this daily time frame shoulder head shoulder, if price doesn't break below these lows, price is gonna just reverse and go back to the top side. Now, if price breaks these lows, then we know that we're going to continue to see that downtrend push all the way back down to the bottom, right? So right now on AU, I'm still sitting on my hands until we break these lows, right? But now we go down into the 4-hour time frame. It's a little bit more technical, but it's the same thing. All you're looking for is market structure. What is going on the 4-hour time frame? First and foremost, right? Again, for everybody that's new, everything is color coordinated. 4-hour highs and lows are blue. 30-minute highs and lows are red, and the daily highs and lows are the gray boxes. So when we're looking at structure on the 4-hour, another reason why I'm not looking for short positions in these areas, we're trading between higher high, higher low, higher high. So why would I get into a short position when price is still in a higher low? On top of everything else on the 4-hour time frame, what do we see? Shoulder, head, shoulder. In order for this to be a valid shoulder at shoulder, we wanted to see a break of these lows. Did we get a break? No. Price came down, gave us an inducement of the low, gave us testing candles of the lows, gave us exhaustion candles at the lows. And as soon as they gave us those exhaustion candles, price came back up to the top side. Right? So right now, not only that, but we have a weaker drop. And let's add a few lines here for the next upcoming weeks. Right? So right now we still have the inducement to the low. And then now on the 30-minute time frame, we had 2 days of drop. On the third day, price gave us that third day low and finished on a rise. We are going to mark it as a drop rise. And then we had lower low, lower high. And then technically speaking, we did get the breakdown here. But I'm going to mark this as lower low, lower high, lower low here. And then we finish on a drop rise. Okay. So AU, gonna be careful with it. Right now we're still either expecting price to break those lows to give us a continuation back, to give us that lower high into the lower low on the daily time frame, or just gonna wait for price to give us the inducement, and that's where we're gonna start seeing price make higher highs and higher lows to go back to the top side and give us a steeper pullback. And guys, any questions, let me know. For the people watching the recording, if you have any questions, feel free to leave the questions in the comment section, or you could message us on Discord, or you can message me on Instagram or X, wherever you guys feel the most comfortable. Alright, so AUDCAD, daily time frame, where are we? We are in A1 on a downtrend. We're in the first zone of consolidation, A1. Alright, we had push number 1, first zone of consolidation, where we could see price rejecting highs, lows, highs, lows, highs, lows. Then price came up, and then on the push to the top side, what is price doing? Moving sideways. And we'll see that better on the 4-hour time frame. Right? Rejecting highs, rejecting lows, rejecting highs, rejecting lows, rejecting highs again, coming back down to the lows. We have a weaker drop, no continuations on AUDCAD. And on the 30-minute time frame, we had a day of drop on Thursday, and then Friday gave us a day of rise, pushed up to the top side. When we're looking at 30-minute structure, we were trading between very big zones, right? Price gave us lower low, lower high, lower low. Then price came up, gave us a higher high. Price never broke these highs, just moving sideways, came back down, went back up, went back down. And price never broke these lows until Friday. So we have another change of character on the 30-minute time frame. So we are now trading between this high up here and these lows down here. It's going to be a pretty big zone, but that's okay. Right now for AUDCAD, I don't have anything. Once again, once price is in a zone of consolidation, I'm letting it go. Once price, we're in a downtrend. Again, let's reiterate that. We're on an overall downtrend. As soon as price gives us the break of the zone of consolidation, whether it happens on the daily or the 4-hour, which I will be looking for this to break on the 4-hour. This is where we see structure a little bit better. As soon as price breaks this low of the zone of consolidation, then I'll start looking to take a trade. And this is where a lot of traders get stuck. Because again, a zone of consolidation, yes, a sideways movement, cool. I'm glad that you're able to see and give me the I'm glad you're able to tell me how a zone of consolidation looks like. But if I go and I ask you, what is the definition of a zone of consolidation? Like, yeah, it's sideways movement. Okay, cool. That's the action behind a zone of consolidation. But what's the definition? What is the purpose of a zone of consolidation? A zone of consolidation is an area in the market where the market makers are trapping traders, inducing traders, collecting contracts to hit stop losses, to hunt for stop losses. The second thing I want you guys to always keep in mind in a zone of consolidation, when you're looking to take a trade, and we'll reiterate this with the trend as well. When you're looking to trade zones of consolidation, and in this instance, since we're looking for shorts, we're looking for sells, where should you be looking to take short positions in a zone of consolidation? Are you looking to take trades going short at the bottom of the zone of consolidation? Or would you be looking to take price, or would you be looking to take shorts at the top of the zone of consolidation? And the answer to that is the top of the zone of consolidation. So the fact that price right now is at the bottom, I'm not looking to take entries. Now, if price gives us the change of character, which it did at the lows, it comes up and then it gives us a break of structure, lower low, lower high, then again, best believe I'll be looking to take these trades to continue that downtrend push. But as of right now, there's nothing on AUDCAD. You guys have to remember, everybody always talks about this online, but nobody gives you guys the answer. Nobody gives you guys the reasons as to why. You start looking online, go look at how many people are losing. Now, why is it? Because they're trading in zones of consolidation. There's only two types of market conditions while trading. It doesn't matter what you trade, whether you trade gold, US30, currencies, if you trade Bitcoin, if you trade futures, it's the same chart, right? There's only two different moves. There's only two different market conditions. And the market conditions are consolidation or a trend. There's nothing else that happens in the market, guys. There's only two things that happen. Either price is trending or price is consolidating. Once you see that price is consolidating, again, we just went over it. The definition of a zone of consolidation is an area in the market where the market makers are trapping traders, collecting contracts, inducing traders to get into a trade to hunt for stop losses. Once you understand what a zone of consolidation is, and once you're able to see a zone of consolidation being formed, your best trade is to take no trades. And that is the reality of trading. Because again, the day you take a trade in a zone of consolidation, and you guys have seen it. I try to speak to, at least make it make sense for every trader. But at the end of the day, I don't even have to do that. Go look at your ledger. Go look at your trading history for the past 2 months. How many of you guys still have your accounts? How many of you guys have collected a payout? How many of you guys have taken hundreds of trades in the last month and a half? You're still not profitable. I wonder why. Right? This isn't, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand this. It's really simple. It really is. Right? We start making trading harder on ourselves when we believe that, oh, the market, we're just gonna lose some days. No. You could beat the market makers. Shout out Steve Morrow. You could beat them. The problem is that you're not gonna win if you don't know the rules. And that's just life in general. That's not even only about trading. That's a life skill. It doesn't matter what you get into. You're not gonna win if you're not better than the other person you're playing against. Right? You're not gonna hop on a chessboard and think that it's a 50-50 gamble that I'm gonna win, I'm gonna lose. Right? You're not gonna hop in a Call of Duty game and be like, oh, it's a 50% chance win, a 50% chance that I'm gonna win, a 50% chance that I'm gonna lose. No. If you know how to play the game and you've practiced and you know exactly what's gonna happen before it happens, you're gonna win. Same thing with trading. But you have to know the rules. And that's okay. A lot of people think that trading is a game where you're gonna master it and one day I'm not gonna have to study no more. That's not true. The market is a always changing industry. It's a always changing thing. Now, will it be the same with candlesticks and market structure? Absolutely. But what changes every single time, every couple months? Market condition. So if you don't train yourself to be able to see the different types of market conditions, where you're at, what you're looking for, it's going to be very difficult to trade. Right? Now again, for me, I make my trading very simple. It's very cupcake. What do I mean by that? I'm not an aggressive trader. I'm not taking 10 trades a day. I'm not taking 10 trades a week. I'm only trading when the markets are crystal clear. Why? Because that's how I like trading. That's my style of trading. Does that mean you have to have that type of style? No. Again, in a zone of consolidation for me, I'm not taking any trade. It doesn't matter if I'm taking shorts at the top. It doesn't matter if I'm taking longs at the bottom. I don't really trade zones of consolidation. Again, could you trade zones of consolidation? Absolutely. If price is at the top of the zone of consolidation on a downtrend, that's a safety trade. It's nothing new. I've known that for the last, what year are we in, 2025? I started trading in 2017. So the last 8 years, I've been known that rule. That's one of the first rules that I learned. However, in my trading, I have realized over the last couple years that I've been backtesting and figuring things out, I take a lot of losses in zones of consolidation. So what did I do? Stop trading them. That's it. I understand there's two different market conditions. Zones of consolidation and a trend. If price is consolidating and if I don't have an entry that's crystal clear, I'm not taking the trade. I'm stepping away from the charts. There's nothing to trade. What am I going to trade? Right? It's that simple for me. I'll start trading AUDCAD when we start trending. And again, this goes back to what I always talk about. That's a big reason why I'm not married to one singular pair. Because if I only trade AUDCAD and AUDCAD is consolidating, what am I going to trade? There's nothing. And this is why you see a lot of these big traders, these big name traders, right? These big name marketing geniuses, they go on crazy losing streaks for a month and a half. Why? Because they're trading in zones of consolidation without even knowing it, without understanding why it is that they're losing. So, again, AUDCAD already at this point, you know, price is doing what it has to do. We'll let price continue to give us some more data, right? Once we get away from the zones of consolidation, that's when I'll start trading. Euro AUD, we are in level 3 on an uptrend, right? We have the double bottom, push 1, first zone of consolidation, push 2, second zone of consolidation, and then the start of push number 3, and we're expecting price to reach our previous peak highs at these highs, right? At least push up to these highs. So we're looking at market structure. What is price doing on Euro AUD? Moving sideways, and we'll see this a little bit better on the 4-hour time frame. And we go to the 4-hour time frame, just zoom out. What is price doing? Moving sideways, right? Rejecting lows, highs, lows, highs, lows, highs, lows, coming back up to the highs. When we're looking for the continuations of the weeks, we have a week of rise, so no continuation right now. And on the 30-minute time frame, we are still trading between the previous higher high and higher low, higher high, higher low. Then price came back up to the 30-minute highs, never broke it, didn't give us a continuation. 2 days of rise going into the third day. We just have a day of drop. So gonna be patient with Euro AUD. Again, this is another pair that's stuck in a zone of consolidation as well. So EURCAD daily time frame, we are in previous peak highs on an uptrend. Already completed the 3 pushes on the daily, at least for right now. That's how I have it marked. Push 1, push 2, push number 3 into the previous peak highs. Right, so we had 3 months of rise. On the 3rd month, price gave us a rise drop. We expecting price to give us a 4th month push? No, we have a very steep pullback, and we're already at the end of the week or the end of the month for EURCAD as well. On the 4-hour time frame, we're still trading lower low, lower high, lower low. We had 2 weeks of rise, so this week you already seen that this 3rd week push was not given. Price instead gave us a week of drop. And then on the 30-minute time frame, we also had a 372, which is a 3rd day push to the top side. Price did give us the 3rd push to the high, and then finished on a drop. And we're still trading between the same 30-minute high and 30-minute low, which was lower high, lower low. And we can see that this is where price is also just moving sideways. For Euro USD, daily time frame, where are we? We are in level 2 on an uptrend. We have level 1, first zone of consolidation. The start of push number 2, level 2, that gave us the break, higher high, higher low, to continue into the higher high. Perfect. As soon as price gave us the higher high, what did price start doing? Moving sideways. Right? But all we're looking for is for price to give us a higher high to then give us a higher low. So all we're waiting for on Euro USD is for price to give us a set higher low. Now again, same question as the first pair that we were going over. Where is the higher low going to be set? I have 2 points of interest. My first point of interest is a 200 EMA, which is the white EMA. Why? In level 2, price bounces off the 200 EMA. So as soon as we get that pullback, once we see price bouncing off the 200 EMA, that's when I'll start looking to take trades back to the top side. Not only is price bouncing off the 200 EMA on the daily time frame, but remember, 4-hour structure is the blue box. This is higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low if price reaches these lows on the 4-hour time frame. My second point of interest is going to be here at the daily. Remember, these are the daily lows down here and daily highs up here. Right? Could price give us a steeper pullback on the daily time frame, how I have it drawn here, for price to fill in this 30-minute gap to then go back up? Absolutely. So I have 2 points of interest, either the 200 EMA with the 4-hour or the 30-minute gap with the daily time frame. So we're going to be patient. As soon as price reaches our first point of interest, we'll be looking for the same thing. Is price still making lower lows, lower highs? Is price uptrending? Is it downtrending? Wait for price to turn around. Right, this 3rd week push obviously was not given. Instead gave us that week of drop. And then on the 30-minute, We have another day of drop. Price gave us an inducement of the 30-minute high. I then melted. Sorry, I was yawning. For GA, daily time frame, we are in peak high territory. So again, this is a pair for me right now that I am not trading currently. So we're just gonna update the chart. Just to keep it fresh. We had a week of no net last week where price was just moving sideways. Then this week, price gave us a week of rise. We still got that gap at the top of the market. On the 4-hour time frame, it gave us an inducement of the low. And then on the 30, we still have that gap at the top of the market. Price on Wednesday gave us a day of drop. Price on Thursday gave us a day of rise. And then on Friday, price just moved sideways. And then on the 30, I'm not going to update the 30-minute lows and highs just yet. It gave us an inducement of the 30-minute high. If price could give us a valid break, we know we could literally take a small trade, right? A little retest back up to fill this 30-minute gap at the top, which is still 86 pips. So we'll be patient with GA. If we could get that break on the 30, we could go back up for price to fill in this 30-minute gap at the top side. That'll be an interesting pair to keep an eye on. GCAD, we are in level 3 on an uptrend, looking for price to reach our previous peak highs up here. Right, we had push 1, first zone, push 2, second zone, and then push number 3, where we could still see price trending. It looks like price is moving sideways, but we are still making higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and we are currently sitting at a higher low. On the 4-hour time frame, we'll see that a little bit better. Right, on the 4-hour time frame, we're trading higher high, higher low, higher high. Looking for the higher low. Once the higher low is made, what did price start doing? Moving sideways, rejecting lows, highs, lows, highs, lows, and coming back up to the highs. We have 2 weeks where price has been moving sideways, no problem. And then on the 30-minute time frame, we had a day of rise on Thursday. Friday gave us a second day of rise. Could we be looking for a 372 push? Absolutely. Could be a good one. Right, and then price made these lows and started moving sideways. So we're trading between a very big 30-minute structure zone. And that's okay. GCAD could be a great pair to keep an eye on for this week. Give me 1 second, team. I was just confirming something in my emails. Give me 1 second. GJ, I wanted to kind of wait for Kendo to join GJ too. That's why I wanted to give it a minute. But I'm gonna go over it. The reason I wanted to wait for Kendo is because he had a question last night about it, about the 372 that we talked about on Wednesday last week. Now again, this is not a trade I took. I haven't traded, I don't think, this entire month. I'm gonna be honest. Um, as you can see anyway, the entry that we were looking for was given at 3 in the morning. I'm dead asleep at that time, so I really haven't had any opportunities to trade. A lot of moves in the market, as you guys can see again. Just open up the charts and go look at when price has been moving. A lot of these pairs have been moving Asia session, London session. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, we're in those type of market conditions at this point, right? The US government was shut down for 40 days. Those 40 days, all price did was move during Asia or London. And the New York session was consolidating or throwing crazy fake outs. But for the most part, STP and ADR was already hit by the time the NYC session came along. My bad, I was stretching again. Right, so let's talk about GJ. So GJ, we know we're still on an uptrend. Daily time frame, we're still higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. On the move from the higher low back up to the higher high, what did price do? Start moving sideways. Okay, no problem. Once price gave us the break of the zone of consolidation, gave us a higher high, higher low, and then internally we shifted from lower low, lower high, lower low back up to the higher highs and higher lows. So we know we're in an uptrend on GJ. On the 4-hour time frame, what do we have? All right, let's add a few lines here for the week. We have 2 weeks of rise. Perfect. Now, could I be expecting a third week push? The only downside to this is the fact that we have such a steep pullback down to the bottom. Do I have a third week line? I don't think I do. I do. Okay. Now, let's talk about the entry. So, this entry was on the 30-minute time frame. Was there an entry on the lower time frames? Absolutely. And we'll talk about it. All right, so first thing is first. You have 2 days of rise, which was Monday, Tuesday. Right? At the end of Tuesday going into Wednesday, what did price do? It gave you a pullback. On the internal time frame, you'll see higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Right? Once price gave us the pullback, and again, we're just doing this on the 30-minute time frame first, right? We're in level 3. In level 3, what EMA do you want to see price bounce off of? The 50 EMA. As soon as price gave you the pullback and we started trending above the 50 EMA, you had your opportunity to take the trade. Now, where would you place your stop loss? That's the thing. If you're just looking at the 30-minute time frame, your stop loss has to be below here at 24 pips. And if you have a 24 pip stop with a 51 pip TP, still a 1 to 2. A lot of people are happy with that. No problem. But if you want to be a little bit more technical, if you want to have a better stop loss so you can have a bigger lot size and capitalize on the moves that you need to capitalize on, you have to go down into the lower time frames. And this is where now the 5-minute and the 1-minute will be your friend. On the 5-minute time frame, what do we see? Right? First and foremost, the first things that you see once price started trending above the 50 EMA on the 30-minute time frame what did we see happen on the 5-minute? We have the cross of the 50 and the 200, right? Not only that, but we also see that price in this area, when we're looking for these entries, what did price start doing? Moving sideways, rejecting lows, rejecting highs, rejecting lows, rejecting highs, rejecting lows. So I already know, okay, cool. In order for me to have a safe stop loss, what I'm looking for now is structure, which is on the 1-minute. On the 1-minute time frame, well, what did price give us? On the 1-minute time frame, on the push to the top side, gave us lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character, higher high, higher low. Then price gave us the break of structure, higher high. So okay, cool. You could start thinking, well, okay, instead of using a 24 pip stop, I could just place my stop loss below the previous break of structure low, the higher low, which is okay. Now I have a 16 pip stop, which is still a little bit too much, right? So 1 to 3 is not bad, but is a little too much. But this is where you use market structure to your advantage, and your fibs, and your rules to your fibs. We could already see that price gave us a retest between 50% and 61.8. Right? When I'm looking for the breaks, where did the break of structure happen? Right? The break happened here, which is, again, when we go to the 5-minute, we keep that line there. You can see that on the 5-minute, we didn't really get a clean break until these pushes to the top side. So I already have an understanding. Okay, cool. Where could I place my stop loss to where I know price isn't going to continue that downtrend push? Where I know my stop loss isn't going to be hit, right? And this is where the rules with the fibs come in. If you got a 50% and a 61.8 retracement, and you're looking at your left-hand side, right? I'm looking at structure. Where did price start trending, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then price started moving sideways. So I know that I could place my stop loss below the previous, the last higher low that was made before the break of structure. So now instead of having a 24 pip stop, instead of having a 16 pip stop, I have a 6 pip stop. And now we're trading a 1 to 9. Now I know that I could put my stop loss in a high, I could have a higher lot size because I have a smaller stop loss. And it's that simple. Right? If you allow the markets to scare you, especially if you're in a lower time frame, you're gonna have a very rude awakening. Because again, this isn't difficult at all. Right? If you're looking at this on the 1-minute time frame, it's very simple. You have the change and you have the break. Right? Once you see that you had the change and you have the break, the best thing to do, if you don't, again, this is talking about if you don't want to do none of the technical work, because again, at this point, when this change and this break was given, you had to babysit the trade. You have to babysit the trade because there's nothing at this point. By the time you had to change in the break at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, you didn't know you were in a zone of consolidation. All you knew that you were trading in a very big break of structure retest. So how would have I approached this trade? It's very simple. My ass would have had a 23 pip stop loss. Not a 23, sorry. I would have had a 16 pip stop loss. I'm okay with that. 1 to 3 is not bad. On a Wednesday morning at 1 in the morning, I'm cool with a 1 to 3. Because I'm not going to babysit the trade. Now, if you are babysitting the trade, then again, at this point, once you saw that price gave you the higher high, and you saw that price came back down and retested these lows, right? This is where now I would have been a little bit more conscious, right? And I would have been like, oh, okay, cool. This is where the zone of consolidation is going to start. Because as soon as we came back down, tapped into these lows, it came back up and it tapped into the highs. And it came back down and tapped into the lows again for the next 2 hours. So this is where you'll have to be babysitting the trade and be like, okay, cool. Well, at this point, I'm just gonna move my stop loss into the structure low and look for a re-entry. But if you're keeping it simple, you don't wanna have to babysit the trade, and very simple. You had to change a character, you had to break a structure. Where's your stop loss gonna be? Below the previous break of structure. 16 pip stop. It is what it is. Right? Not every single time are you gonna get a super clean and simple 5 pip, 4 pip stop loss. Right? Especially if you don't have any other confirmations. You don't have an engulfing candle. Yes, you had the 50 and the 200 cross on the 5 minute. On the 30 minute, you had the 50 EMA, the bounce off the 50 EMA. But when you're looking at your stop loss, there's really nothing else besides structure. So sometimes when you're trading, the best trade is the most simplest trade, and the most simple trade was this 16 pips stop loss trade. Again, could you have gotten a steeper or a lower stop loss? Of course, we just went over it. But the easiest trade, the one where you know you could just take the trade and you could turn off your screen and come back 3-4 hours later and you know that price is going to hit your TP, this is one of those trades. This is one of those instances where being too technical is going to scare you away from taking the trade. Or you're going to put a bullshit stop loss and you're going to get hit out of the trade. Right? Or you're going to get nervous and place a break-even trade. Move my stops to break. Why? You know you had a 372. You know you had the change in the break of structure and you had the retest. You know what I'm saying? Like, what else are you looking for? This is a simple trade. So let's go to the next one. Any questions, guys? Let me know. Once again, for the people watching the recording, let me know. At this point, GU is pretty much the last pair. You know, these other pairs here, I'm not really trading them. We'll go over them and we'll update them. But that's pretty much it for this one. Is going to be the last one. We're going to go into detail and then we're just going to update the other one to see if we see anything. So GU is very similar to EU. We're in level 2 on an uptrend. Price gave us the break of structure of the zone of consolidation. Higher high, higher low. Then gave us another higher high. And now we're just looking for that higher low to be set to continue that uptrend push. On the 4-hour time frame, trying to dodge the sun. It's coming up now. It's in my eyes. I don't have my blinds down. We have a week of drops, so no continuations. And then on the 30-minute time frame, price gave us a day of rise. Price never gave us. The second day of rise is not higher than the first, so it's not a clean 372. NZD USD still making lower lows and lower highs. Have a day of rise here. On the 4-hour time frame, we are trading at a lower low. And on the daily, we can see that we're trading at the lower low. Holy shit, the sun is already in my face. Alright, let's get this going so I won't have this sun in my face the entire time. So, US30, we're in peak high territory. We're still trading at a higher high. On the 4-hour time frame, we have a week of drop, so no continuations. Still making 4-hour lower lows and lower highs. We just made a lower low here. And then on the 30-minute time frame, we have lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low. No continuations. We have a day of rise. USDCAD. We had 2 days of rise. On the third day, which was Friday, gave us that third day high and ended on a no net. But at this point, since we don't know if we're in an overall downtrend or an overall uptrend, we're just going to mark this as a no net. On the 4-hour time frame, price gave us a week of rise. And then again on the daily, now the people asking, well, what do you know? What do you mean you don't know if you're on an uptrend or a downtrend? Let's talk about it. So USDCAD on the daily time frame, right? We had level 1, level 2, level 3 that reached into our previous peak highs. Once price completed the 3 pushes, it gave us an inverse shoulder head shoulder, broke below it, and it gave us that first push on a downtrend, right? In level 1, going into level 2, you want to see the 50 cross below the 200, which we got that. In the first zone of consolidation, the first zone of consolidation is either going to be above or on the 800 EMA, and we also have that. Now, when we're looking at market structure, we're still trading higher high, higher low, higher high. Could this have been a daily time frame higher low to continue a push to the top side? Absolutely. On top of that, in the zone of consolidation, price gave us the break of structure of the top of the zone of consolidation. So right now, USDCAD, when we're looking at market structure and we're looking at the behavior of the structure, it looks like we're still on an uptrend. So right now, USDCAD is a pair that I'm very cautious about trading. I'm not going to really be trading USDCAD like that. Very similar, and the same thing with USDZAR. Very similar. So I'm just going to update these just to keep them updated. See if there's any continuations, anything simple that we could take. But I'm going to wait for market structure to line up. Before I take a trade, everything needs to line up. Gold is in peak highs. We have 1, 2, 3 months of rise. After 3 months of rise, the market must move sideways or go down on the 4-hour time frame. So no continuations on the daily. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see that price is just moving sideways. Right? I'm not gonna update this just yet. We're very close to being a no net for the week, so we're just gonna give that till the market open, and we'll update this tomorrow morning. No problem at all. And then on the 30-minute, we still have that gap at the top of the market, I believe. Still making low, lower, high, lower, low, change of character, higher, high, and then price started moving sideways. And then similar to the 4-hour, this is a very close, where the candle open and closes in the same spot almost. So we'll wait it out. So nothing to talk about on gold for right now. Bitcoin is another pair that I am not currently trading, but we are still making higher high, higher low. Price came down and gave us the higher low on the 800, where the daily lows are at. This could be a good area, guys. On the 4-hour time frame, let's add a few lines here for Saturday. We have 2 weeks of drop. On the 3rd week, gave us a 3rd week low. They gave us a 4th week low. And then we still have a lower low, lower high, lower low. And then on the 30-minute, we had 2 days of drop. On the third day, gave us a third day low, which was on Friday. Then Saturday gave us a no net, just moved sideways. After 3 days of drop, the market must move sideways or go up, and we moved sideways. And then we had lower low, lower high, lower low down here. Pretty big area, but that's okay. And then last but not least, guys, US oil. We are in a downtrend in A2, in level 2, sorry. Right, we had level 1, A1, the push of the start of level 2 that gave us the break of structure, lower low, lower high. Now we're looking for the lower low to be made. Gave us lower low, lower high. Now we're looking for the lower low. We had 3 months of drop. On the third month gave us a drop no net. So this month we were expecting price to give us a fourth month low, which price tapped into it last week. On the 4-hour time frame, we had no continuations. Price was just kind of moving sideways, but we do have a week of drop. And then on the 30-minute, we had the change, the break, lower low, lower high, and then price gave us another lower low. And we had 2 days of drop, and then gave us that third day low on Friday. That's pretty much it for today, team. Any questions, let me know. Again, for the people watching the recording, if you have any questions, feel free to message me. And we'll be back again tomorrow morning for the live trading session. Hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Peace out.